All right, let's talk about a show that on paper really shouldn't have worked. Back in 2011, this thing pops up on basic cable. No celebrities, no scripts, no safety net, just four lifelong friends daring each other to do some seriously embarrassing stuff. But over the next decade, Impractical Jokers didn't just become a hit, it quietly and completely reshaped TV comedy. So, how'd they do it? What was the secret? To really get the genius of this show, you have to understand this one super simple shift. See, before Impractical Jokers, prank shows were all about the gotcha, right? The prankster tricks some poor, unsuspecting person. But these guys, they flipped the entire script. The joke turned inward, the prankster weighing the hero in control. They were the one on the spot, the victim of their own friends' dares, and that single change made all the difference. And to really appreciate just how revolutionary this was, we got to step back and look at the world of prank comedy before 2011. It was a very different landscape, dominated by a much more aggressive style of humor. Yeah, the old formula was surprisingly consistent. You had shows like Punk'd, which needed these huge, elaborate setups just to trick a celebrity. You had the extreme physical pain of Jackass. And hey, even if you go all the way back to Candid Camera, it was all built around big productions and loud reactions. The whole point, every single time, was getting to that classic gotcha moment. So what was the one thing missing from all these shows? Vulnerability. You never saw the pranksters themselves sweat. You never saw them hesitate or look genuinely afraid of the social consequences. That raw, emotional honesty was this huge gap in the market, just waiting for someone to fill it. And this is where Impractical Jokers comes in. They saw that missing piece, vulnerability, and they built an entire show around it. The result? A simple twist that would end up changing the game forever. The premise is just brilliantly simple. You got four friends who have known each other forever. They compete in these embarrassing public challenges. Someone loses, and that loser has to face a punishment that they absolutely cannot refuse. There's no escape hatch, no just kidding. The stakes are purely social and emotional. And the mechanics of every episode are just as straightforward. Compete, lose, and then face the punishment. This simple, repeatable structure gives the show a rhythm. You always know what's coming, which honestly just makes the anticipation of that final, dreaded punishment even more powerful. And this right here is the most important shift you have to understand. The comedy wasn't coming from tricking strangers. It came from watching one of the friends become the victim. We weren't laughing at some unsuspecting person on the street. We were laughing with the jokers as they navigated their own humiliation. So this new approach created three key differences from all of the older prank shows. First, no celebrities. They were just regular, relatable guys. Second, the consequences were real. If you lost, you had to face the punishment, period. And third, this led to this kind of long-term humiliation. Jokes and embarrassing moments that would be brought up again and again for years. Now, this new formula, it didn't just stay on television. Oh no, it created this massive ripple effect, like an awkwardness tsunami that changed our entire cultural understanding of what's funny. This might be the show's single greatest legacy. It made awkward the new funny. It took that feeling of secondhand embarrassment, that cringe you feel when you see someone else in a weird situation, and turned it into a primetime comedic art form. They made it not just okay, but hilarious to be awkward. And once you see it everywhere. The show's DNA is all over the place today. I mean, think about it. The public challenges on TikTok, reaction-based comedy on YouTube, those in-real-life streamers who create awkward public interactions. So much of that can be traced right back to this idea. Putting yourself in an embarrassing situation for content has become a dominant force online. The show was also perfectly built for the internet, maybe by accident. The whole format of quick setups, big reactions, and these little self-contained bits was tailor-made for sharing as short clips. I mean, moments like Sal falling down laughing, or Joe breaking character, they were practically destined to become memes, which helped the show absolutely explode online. But look, a great format can only get you so far. The real reason the show lasted over a decade wasn't just the pranks. It was something much deeper. I mean, think about it. Most prank shows have a really short shelf life. The formula gets old, the reactions start to feel fake, and they just disappear. So how did Impractical Jokers keep going strong for over a decade? What was its real secret? It's because the heart of the show was never really the jokes. It was the friendship. You tuned in to watch four genuine friends support each other, even as they were engineering each other's humiliation. That shared experience of losing your dignity together is what built such a powerful, real connection with the audience. And we saw absolute proof of this when Joe Gatto left the show. The format stayed the same, but the energy, it shifted. It was the ultimate evidence that the magic wasn't some formula you could just plug new people into. No, it was the specific, irreplaceable chemistry of those four friends. When you look back, the show's legacy is huge. It completely normalized awkward humor for an entire generation. It proved you don't need big-name celebrities or fake drama to make a hit show. And maybe most impressively, it turned a series based on pure humiliation into a genuine comfort show, something people watched just to feel good. Which leaves us with a final thought. In an industry that's always searching for the next clever format or the next shocking punchline, maybe the secret to changing comedy forever wasn't about writing a better joke, but about capturing a better friendship on screen.